exhaust contactors. See what those are looking like. So the FLA
Next
on the
one, we'll just need to slide this big ass bitch out.
15.7.
That.
We're running. Actually, I think it was higher than that. We'll evaporator.
Oh, hey, people.
16.7. And then the compressors are all 14.7.
Oh, what
so 16.7 on the blower. Doing fine. Right up 15. Okay, compressors. 11, so that's cool. 10.7.
Probably wondered, why do I got 2 air conditioners in my window? Well, I like Frigidaire, not the air conditioner.
Kind of high. That might be the one where the condenser fan motor. Ooh, 14.3. Okay, so we need to get those condenser fan motors up and running. Oh, the other one started finally.
Yeah,
while we're running high current on the compressor. But it's running backwards actually. So we're gonna change those capacitors and see if we drop that current down and see if those compressors calm down when we do that too. I just cleaned this condenser, so it's not a dirty condenser. So these two are amping on the high end, but they might be part of those condenser fan motors that aren't working right. So we're gonna go see if
okay, yeah, I gotta find it. I really don't give a two cans of tuna. Oh, my tuna. Well, yeah, I don't like tuna fish sandwiches either.
All running. 76 amps, and I was incorrect. It's 100 amp main breaker. All condenser fan motors should be running. This one's running now too. We're gonna test current on them. Find out. I think it's 2.4 is what they can run. So these are my motors right here. The relays don't look good. These are little ice cube relays, and I can see that some of them are burned. So we're allowed to run 2.4. So 2.1, 1.66, 1.7, 1.8. So that one that's running 2.1. Yeah, 2.22. That says condenser fan motor number 3. That's the one that had a bad cap. And it's running really, it almost seems like it's running slow. So we're going to change that condenser fan motor. My goodness gracious, the heat coming out of that condenser right now is insane. And I'm about to get a rain cloud right now. If you look over here, we got thunderstorms coming. As I was coming out here, it was raining on me. So that's my temp in the shade, 107.
And also got to slide this one out and rewire it.
Let's see what it is out in the sun. So it's about 114 in the sun. It's like about 133 discharge air temp.
Fudge.
It's hot, man.
This is bullshit.
This thing's moving air. Like I said, I recently cleaned it. I took the side panels off and stuff. So
hey, man.
It's moving air. But you know what, man? Listen, did you guys hear that?
GD, man, GD.
It sounds like a dry bearing. I'm getting like a dry bearing sound from this guy. There it is. There it is. I think that's the indoor motor. I think that's the indoor blower motor failing. It's so hard to tell if it's the motor or that back bearing.
Big no.
It's definitely the motor. Okay. Makes me feel a lot more comfortable. You can hear it in there without the bell. I was trying to figure out if the sound was resonating in the back, but definitely the motor. This is what I'm talking about when I say you got to use your senses. Ditch the headphones when you're on the roof, okay? Headphones have no place on a roof unless you're in like a mechanical room where you have to use it for hearing protection. But up on the roof, I'm just working on this unit, and I can hear this weird sound, you know?
Don't clean it out.
And I didn't hear it when I started
later
it up,
plug your drain up, and it'd be very bad. And also be held
now,
getting it out.
This belt is too tight for my comfort as it is. Pulleys, interestingly warm.
Ow, click off. Yeah, great.
This one's really sharp on the edges too. It's kind of weird. I don't think it's properly. The belt's kind of worn right here, and it's really sharp. But
so we got red.
Yeah, that guy's a little bit too tight, so we're gonna loosen this up
black,
too, just to get us a little more life out of this. Yeah, the motor's really hot.
I'm beanie head.
So we
got a huge knot on my head because
I can see.
I was working on this and I was under it and I hit my head pretty damn hard.
And there's grease in there, but there's not very much. It's rather dry.
Good size
you can see the shaft
potato on my head.
So we're gonna put a little grease in there. I'm still gonna talk to them about it.
I don't want to hear no bull crap in the comment of this video.
These don't have a
saying,
port
you ain't no
for grease.
professional at this crap.
It just has these little fittings right here that are plugging it off. But what I did was I took this fitting out of the.
I've been working on this
temporarily. Put it on this guy.
4 years
just
now.
Greased it till it started coming out.
Not
the shaft
4.
A little bit.
Number
Again,
4
this
years.
is just gonna get them by.
And I'm only 13.
Right grease
and
people always ask me what grease I use. Whatever the
oh,
supply house
I'm not
has,
typical. I'm not.
Too close attention to that. So we're gonna grease this one up too. But I wish I could show you guys the inside of that thing, but it's completely dry. You can just see remnants of grease. Since I got the grease gun, I'm gonna go ahead and grease this bearing right here. And that bearing right there.
This
also,
old
when you're applying grease to these bearings into the motors, you should be spinning it as you're applying grease, and you don't want to over apply. You don't want to, just jam the thing full of grease. I just basically lightly filled it up, and that's it. Just slightly when it started pumping out the seal right there, not even the seal, but the shaft. Just lightly though. So, and then we're gonna do this.
Send this to a salvage yard.
And don't be that guy. Always clean off the grease when you're done.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Get it all off. That way there's not a massive amount of grease. And then
Matter of
run
fact,
into
I'm
the
gonna
race
take this
of the bearing. Old grease out of there. Try to clean up yourself as best as possible. Okay, this guy's ready to go back in now.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
It's better than it was. Everything's greased up. We're gonna fire this guy up, see if it calms down with that sound it was making. Still making it. Give it a second. I can hear it from the outside of the unit. That's a problem. I've got it in test mode right now. When the unit goes into test mode, it powers down the unit, but the indoor blower contactor is still pulled in. Even when I take it out of test mode, you should usually hear the unit completely stop. There's a number 50 error code because I messed up the limit switch when I was pulling the blower assembly out. So that should have shut off by now, and it's not. So there's something wrong with the M2. M17 board, I should say. I don't know if this unit's going to be worth fixing with this customer. They're probably going to replace it. Because if they're going to need a board, contactors, condenser fan motor, indoor blower motor, pulleys.
Oh, this should
I'll
work
bet
better
you these guys
because it's
will
a
replace
really
it. And
big.
the crappy thing is they need to replace this unit.
Okay, let's go take that. Ew, disgrace. I might have to drag the water hose in here. Clean that.
Alright, we're going to let it run for a bit, see how it does.
I know
Yeah, appendicitis, and I don't know if that will give you appendicitis, but
that's something about that limit switch. In my head, I'm trying to think if they will. If you have a bad limit switch, if they'll run the indoor blower motor as like a safety precaution. I need to investigate that before I condemn that board. Yep, that's what I thought it was. I just jumped out the limit switch temporarily, and now the blower shuts off. So it's a function, like a safety function, in case the limit switch ever failed in heating, it just automatically runs the blower, even if it's in test mode. So what I'm going to do is lock out the heating because we're not going to use it.
I'm going to shave my damn head bald.
And then we'll order that limit switch when we come back. So the M2 is not a problem, or the product, I'm sorry, M18 board. So, all right, I'm about done, man. I'm beat. I've been drinking water like a fish. I'm just dying. It's hot. And it's humid out here for us. It's probably like 30 or 40% humidity. California, that just kills us. We don't know what humidity is here. So I'm wearing a long sleeve and undershirt, sweating like a pig. All right, so that's all I can do for now. I just bypassed the limit switch. I locked out the heating so that way it won't turn on. We're going to talk to the customer, see what they want to do. So indoor blower motor, pulleys, condenser fan motor, contactors. I should put my gauges on it, but I'm not really in the mood right now. And this storm is about to be here, so I need to get out of here. It's raining already over here. I can see it. So as far as this unit, I don't know what to tell them. They said it was 86 in the kitchen yesterday. 75 in the kitchen when I got here today, and this thing's cranking. No problems at all. No restrictions. I mean, everything's cool with this guy. I don't know. We'll have to tell him to keep an eye on that. All right, we're back today. We've got a new indoor blower motor, condenser fan motor, blade, pulleys, belt, all that fancy stuff.
I don't feel like
take a look at
standing
this
up.
kitchen AC that I was here on. The one that had a plug-in filter dryer. We don't have any active codes. Nothing new. The customer hasn't complained, so hopefully all is good at this point.
Well, I've got an
Go
active
ahead
code
and
on this
get
one.
started on
20.
that dining room AC though.
23,
The unit's
22,
running full call for cool,
20,
and it looks like
the 13.
The motor held up. Didn't trip the breaker anymore. It's been a couple weeks since I was last here. So greasing that thing up temporarily helped to get them through. We're still going to go ahead and replace it though. Pulled it out for easier access, and then I went ahead and put some penetrating oil on everything, all in here while I start sanding everything up. I also verified that the parts, I have a pulley, and a bushing right there. They're all the correct parts, so we're good on that. So we're just going to get started on this. I also powered down the unit and made sure we didn't have any power, so we're good to go. Okay, I got some sandpaper here. Start by sanding everything up.
Yeah, right.
Once we get it sanded up, start disassembling, loosening bushings and all that stuff. Work the sandpaper right, you get these real thin strips. You can actually turn the shaft with the sandpaper. Makes it nice. Same thing for this. So I'm cleaning up the inside so I can potentially, if I have to, push the pulley onto it. In fact, you know what? I don't need to take this one off because I've got a whole new motor. So we're just going to get this one off. All right, so the bushing right here, I pulled the screw or the bolts that hold it together, that sandwich it together, and put them in the opposite holes. So now we're going to push it apart. And you're going to put even pressure on both sides. And then it also looks like we might have a set screw in here that I need to pull out.
Okay, cool.
So we'll check
that
that
is
set screw real
just
quick.
fine.
We'll start separating the pulleys. Yeah, we're going to apply even
Snowball,
pressure.
puffy ball.
Quarter turn. 1/4 turn. Just keep going all the way around. Gotta do it evenly though. It'll pop off.
I hope I didn't just waste freaking $5. I still got to waste 20 on this one.
On 3.
Of course, I can just go out to the
Right off.
the shack and go
So
get a damn
this-
cord.
Motor hasn't been maintained and hasn't been greased for a very long time. And that's mainly why I'm changing it, because the bearings have basically overheated and potentially have damage. Now it's not making the whining noise anymore, but it's been so long since it's been greased that it's just time to replace. Some of these things, this customer's so far out here that it's not worth it for me to try to grease it and come back, and because the callbacks and the amount of labor that I would have to charge them is ridiculous. So
The one thing I hate about these Fetters ones with the vent on this side is that I'd rather have the knob than the damn control panel, because I had to place the damn power switch on it, which I should have just got a new damn control panel. Because It's gonna affect me later? No. So just capacitor.
Got it.
Capacitor holder here.
Yeah, we need to set this guy where the other one was set. So we find the old motor, and I'm going to set it based on the old motor
bad
settings.
freaking idea.
Which is all the way closed.
We're
We're going to start there.
in there. Son of a gun.
So on this one, you got to pull this set screw, then pull that key out, and then you'll be able to adjust it.
Drop it. I would be mad if I did.
You tighten it all the way. Okay. Now we want to go ahead and put a belt on so we can get a ballpark. It'll help us do the alignment. Let's see how tight this is. Okay, that's too tight, so we're going to go ahead and loosen it and then tighten it up. I'm going to use an impact, but it's okay because I got that trigger control.
What the fuck, man? Phew, I would hate to lose something in here.
Still loose.
Oh, wait, I just did.
Now we can kind of
Damn,
set our depth.
and such stupid. I might need to go get the hitch up.
Yeah, I'm just using an eyeball to get me in the ballpark. Keeping in mind that when we tighten this taper down or this bushing,
Okay, this is
it's
probably
going to pull the whole
biggest
pulley that
no-no
way.
in ever
So
history.
we want to set our level
Just putting
ever
it in
so
like that.
slightly in because when we tighten it, it's actually going to pull the pulley onto it. So that's pretty close. Now everything is finger tight when it comes to the set screws and everything. You don't use an impact for any of this because you end up breaking everything. Okay, now we're going to tighten evenly. That's about it. Make sure that you look straight. Looks good. Looks like we can go in just a little bit. That looks dead perfect. I like it a lot. Okay? That guy's already torqued down. And then now we just need to tighten this set screw right here. And there's a key already below it. I can see the key, so we're doing good. This has been cut one too many times. There we go. Okay, so tighten, loosen. Each time we rotate.
Man, what the hell is this heat?
Looking good. Yeah, you want to make sure that this gap stays even when you're tightening it. That will be a big thing.
Frickin' A. 18.
That was at 1 3/4. They're about even right now, so we want to make sure we tighten them evenly. Good. Now I don't think that's even anymore. That's right at 2 inches. And that one's at 2 1/8. So we need to loosen this one out. Just a hair. 2 1/16. 2 inches. Actually, no, that's 2 and 2. That's even. Make sure we're still tight like we're supposed to be. Looks good. Not over tight. I've got all the contactors changed out. And of course, all the labels flipped back up. Indoor blower motors installed, ready to be started up. Wired in. Aligned and everything. So we're ready to fire that up and check phase rotation and continue on. Okay, we're going to gonna fire this. Actually, here's what we're gonna do. So I can be careful about it. We're gonna put the unit into test mode. Go shift, unit test. By doing that, it won't run when I power it on. Okay. There we go. And then now we can check rotation. So it looks like we have a call for fan. And it's trying to start, but test mode is locking it out. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out of test mode. I'm going to come on over here. It's going the wrong way. How did that happen? Oh, I know how it happened. Yeah, I'll have to reverse the rotation. I lined it up, line 1, line 2, line 3, but it must not be correct. Let's try this again. Let's see if we're going in the right direction. Okay, we're going in the right direction. Now we just got to make sure that we're not overamping, so we're going to get in here and check current draw now. All right, yeah, so with the new motor, we're allowed to pull 13.8 amps. So we need to go ahead and slow that thing down a little bit. We're going to have to power this guy down, open up the pulley. All right, this motor's pulling too much current, meaning that it's running too fast, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the motor pulley. So this is where I had it set. Right here was a half turn open. We're going to open it 2 full turns to see if we can get it to drop. So we're going to open the pulley. That's 1/2. There's 1.
Do it.
There's 2. So we're going to set it right there. And we're going to see where that gets us. All right, we're going to see where this guy fires up at now.
So you want to hit me?
So 13.8 is what we're allowed to run. Much better. I can even probably close it down a little bit, but I'm probably just going to leave it there. As long as the building's air balance isn't jacked up, and I'll check it on my way out. But we're going to leave it where it is. I like to make it easy. I'm generally a lazy person, so take this off so I can access the motor right from the side instead of having to climb on top of the unit. I can do all the work right here. All right, everything is running much better. I'm at the camper, and now it's actually moving air. Before, it seemed like it was running really slow. Now we're really moving air, so. All right, we're doing good. We're gonna watch this thing operate for a little bit, start cleaning up all of our messes. Man, where do you stop? All of these relays were burnt too. Look at these. When you're out here in the desert and you've got equipment that is just not maintained as good as it should be, you know, I'm reluctant to not change those relays because I don't want to be back. It's frustrating. All right, hopefully that's it on this guy. Check the TD.
I'm mad
good, but get these contacts. They weren't horrendous, but they're definitely starting to burn.
I can see 2 poles.
Man, I don't know. You guys probably can't see it, but it is so smoky out here. It's like I'm starting to get a stomach ache. I don't know if it's the heat or the smoke. But yeah, every one of these contactors is like this, just all pitted out, beat down. That's what the desert does to you. It's been about 2 weeks since the last footage, and when I finished up the motor install, I had forgotten to bring up a limit switch to replace the limit switch that I bypassed. Now, mind you, we don't, remember, I just got to reiterate this. We don't
That's
bypass
even a
limit
bigger
switches,
no-no.
especially on
Never
heaters, okay?
run an air
gas-fired
conditioner.
appliances, or anything like that. Anything where
I don't got a
there could be
referral
potential
outlet
safety
right
problems.
here.
Never bypass
So-
high pressure controls, any of that stuff. Now, when I bypassed this limit switch, I literally did it just to get the unit
what I'm gonna
operational,
do
and
is
I
I'm just
turned
gonna-
off the gas.
For a few
So that way
minutes,
it could
put
not fire up. I have a new limit switch right
put
here.
this on
We're gonna
extension
get this
cord
guy
and
wired
see
in, have power
how
turned
good
off,
it does.
and finish this job up. But yeah, no complaints from the customer. AC's been working fine. Blower's good. So I'm putting these limit switches in. They do this on purpose. There is a connector that is really tiny compared to the normal size connectors. Okay, you got to make sure you have those. I keep these in my truck
Right here.
for this purpose. It's so that way you hook them up correctly. Another thing too, to clarify, in the beginning of this video, I showed that I thought or I think I showed it at least, when the limit switch broke, all of a sudden, the blower motor started running, and it was weird. Like, something was funky there. And it is a design of the unit. That way, if the limit switch fails, they run the blower motor just to be sure that there's no potential of a fire in the unit. It would be in my imagination. So when I push this guy in, I have it powered right now. See, the blower turned on. So they do that on purpose for safety reasons, I would assume. Okay, I'm not into it, but that makes sense. In the case of this video, I bypassed the heater limit switch. Okay, you don't ever do that when you have an operating heater, okay, or gas-fired appliance. You never bypass the safety switch. All right, in this situation, what I bypassed that safety, I disengaged, I completely disconnected the heating circuit so it could not potentially come on. Okay, be very, very careful about that stuff. This was one of those things where it was just, one thing after another. And, I'm so adamant about the wearing headphones when you're on the roof. Guys, I would not have heard the bearing going bad. It was an intermittent problem. And I could not figure out why the brake was tripped. The customer said the customer didn't even know that it was tripped, but I couldn't find a reason. And then I heard that sound, and then it was like, oh, okay. Now, I get a bunch of people asking me, hey, why don't I rebuild or replace the bearings in the motor? It's not economically feasible. Basically, the amount of time it would take in labor would far exceed the price of the motor. So it's just as cheap to slap in a new motor. But anyways, we got the unit operational. The customer's happy. Still never had another problem with that kitchen AC. I don't know what they were talking about that first time. But yeah, all was well. So I really appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video on this one. Do me a favor. Remember, I do live streams Monday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, work permitting. Also go live on the HVAC Overtime channel on Friday evenings with my buddies. We do just kind of a good hangout show. And if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there's a couple different ways you guys can do so.
Oh, look at this.
You certainly don't have to. I'm going to keep
This transformer
support or not, but if you choose to do so,
came out of that.
You can support me via Patreon. There's links in the show notes
See
of all
how-
my videos.
see how damn
support me
nasty
via
that
YouTube
is?
channel memberships.
It's all roach shit.
Merch,
Roach
available at
shit,
hvacrviews.com.
rust, and
you guys can get shirts and hats.
so on. Model.
And then True Tech Tools. Okay, if you guys are considering
VPN
purchasing
is
any tools,
blah,
go to
blah, blah,
truetech.com.
blah, blah.
Use my offer code Big Picture, one word. And if you guys do know what tools you're looking for, shoot me an email. I'll generate an affiliate link. It helps me out a bit more. Okay. Really, really appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay. Oh, look at that. The screw doesn't keep spinning because I know how to use the trigger. If you don't know how to use the trigger, use the clutch. If you're using an impact, throw it in the trash. This video is brought to you by Sportland. Quality, integrity, and tradition.
What?
The complaint today is that the kitchen AC is not working properly. We have a Lennox package unit. I believe this to be a 15-ton. Let's get inside here.
Do something.
We've got an error message.
Oh, so
on
this
the
bitch wants to do this
M17
shit.
board.
Okay, well, we're just gonna
And if we come over here,
pop this bitch open.
15 says high pressure limit open 3 times during call, basically. So at the moment, looks like first and second stage contactors are not pulled in, and we're only running off the third stage.
Ow, that's probably the
Condenser
dumbest thing that you could do.
is pretty dirty and pretty
That-
smashed up at that. Yeah, it's definitely dusty. And then condenser fan motor wise, all condenser fan motors are running. So we've got some issues here. All right, I'm about to shut down this AC, but it's very important to understand your restaurants and how they operate. This one, the fire alarm is tied into the AC, and I had to have them put the fire alarm on test so they didn't get a silent signal. Always understand the operation of your restaurants, okay? So this one they have, and I've showed it many times, they tied into the duct detector. When the duct detector has a trouble condition, it signals the fire alarm company. Now, it just sets off a trouble, not a fire alarm, but it makes the alarm company call the restaurant, basically. I prefer to pull the side of the panel off to be able to access the condensers. When I do that, what you get to see is the coil cleaning company, how lazy they've been. You can see that they've only been cleaning from the little coil cleaning access that's right here. And you can see by the damage in the condenser, nobody's been doing this correctly. You can also see down here that this condenser's Well, I can see on the
And
pole, it's pretty damaged too. It's really flattened out in a bunch of spots.
Good.
Really bad. And that's from people
do it again.
not cleaning it properly. Same thing right here. You
See,
can
now
how
that's a good sign right there.
damaged the condenser is. There's going to be a
Now
point in
the
time
best sign
where
is
it's
I'm
not
too big of a
cleanable
wuss to get over here and turn it
anymore.
on.
So that way,
Because I done had a
we can
few,
access everything, and I'll knock it out real
oh,
quick. Went ahead and pulled the
yeah,
metal
blow up
filters out too.
a couple,
Now I'm doing
just
a
a
thorough
couple.
job on
That's
this
it.
AC. I am going to rinse
And
the other AC
I'm not a
too,
wuss,
so I
but
don't want to go as crazy on
call me
those
one.
because they didn't call me here for those.
Tell me one in the
I'll leave it up to
comments.
the customer and
Now,
see what they want to do. So
I'll just
we start
respond.
by
Yeah, I'm a
rinsing
big
the
wuss.
outside of the condenser, just getting the big stuff off. You know, I already gave it a quick little rinse. So we get the big stuff off,
Okay, we
get the
don't
bulk of
wanna
the
do that,
dirt out.
so
You know, just the surface
remove
stuff.
all
Do the
this
same thing on the
junk.
inside. Just get saturating the condenser.
I wonder
You
why
want
I'm not
plenty of,
getting even 2 views. Well, I got
you
2
want a smooth
views.
surface essentially for the coil
What did I
cleaner.
get? One.
Now this inside condenser is
No.
truly damaged,
Yes.
really
Maybe
bad.
so.
That's
Whatever.
all flattened from people.
I'm just gonna get 5 views when this
I mean,
comes out.
water's barely even coming through, you know, as opposed to coming over here.
So what the hell we working with right
Saturate
here?
the big stuff off, and then we're
Are we
gonna apply
working
the
with
cleaner and let it do its magic.
Another piece of shit.
I'm using the brightener cleaner because
So
this
this one's a
thing's
newer
so
piece of
packed
shit.
with dirt. I need the foaming
So
action.
we just
So
gotta
normally I would only
saturate
use
this
it in
and
greasy
hesitate
situations,
to
but
watch.
now I'm gonna clean multiple condensers, so I went ahead and put a lot in my coil gun, but you don't need this much to clean one condenser. It's gonna do a lot. So
Oh,
I already gave it one coat.
Oh shit.
All that we're gonna do
Oh shit.
is I usually spray
Well,
on the
take
C
this
setting,
thermostat,
right there.
put it back on here with this.
And then
So,
we're just gonna start from the bottom and work our way up, just letting it penetrate, and do it from the inside and the outside, getting a nice and good. It is not a race. You literally have to go row by row, nice and slow to make sure you get it all out. See, because if I just run through here real quick, you know, boom, 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 like most, you know, just bam, 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 it's not going through and it's not getting it all. You gotta be thorough. You gotta make sure that you're going row by row, nice and slow, to make sure that you're getting all the stuff. And don't be afraid to reapply. You see how it's going slow right there? Okay. So once I get done cleaning it, I'm probably going to do it again. I had gotten most of the surface stuff off, so I wanted to do another cleaning, but this time I used just the standard Venom pack, the yellow pack.
I wonder
And
why. There's nothing wrong
just like I
with it.
said, the Venom pack, the yellow pack, you can
Just
just
what damn
let that
solar.
stuff sit
I
for a
guess
minute,
because
let
the
it
heater
do
wasn't
its
blowing
magic.
enough.
But yeah, we're coming through a lot better now.
I told him.
Not really seeing as much dirt, but I'm just doing that once a week to make sure. Yeah, looking good. But this is just one block of condenser. I have 3 more to go as far as the slabs go.
This one flips on.
Look at that. The screw
Okay,
doesn't
it works.
because
Pressure
I know how to
flips
use the
on.
trigger.
Okay, I was
If you
right.
don't know how to use the trigger, use the clutch. If you're using an impact, throw it
Throw
in
it
the
in
trash. Getting ready to power the unit back on, and I know the belt's extremely loose, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up. But also, feeling the pulley's worn out. I don't know how well this will come across on camera, but
Where'd it go?
it's grooved pretty good there. It doesn't really show it too well
That
there.
covers went
But yeah,
somewhere.
it's got a nice little groove going on, so we'll talk to the customer about that. I don't have the pulley, but I'm going to tighten up the belt, but we got to be careful because of those grooves. If you tighten it too tight and the pulley's worn a certain way, the belt will get stuck in there. If you want to test whether a belt is going to get stuck in the pulley, what I do is pull down on the belt like this in a straight line, okay? Get your hands about this far down, you pull down, and then while you still have it tightened, you push it up. If the pulley's if the pulley's worn enough, so you see on my hand, if the pulley's worn enough, the belt will actually get stuck in there. If you tighten that up extremely tight, then you're going to start breaking belts or overloading the motor, okay? So again, pulling it straight down, pushing it up, nothing. Now, this pulley, you guys can see. I mean, I don't even need to go get the pulley gauge to see that it has an arched lip.
This son of a
pulley, or a sheave, whatever you want to call it, it's supposed to be straight angles, not curved like
No,
this.
you know what? I'm actually
Okay, so
gonna
that's
go
a problem. That's worn
get
down,
a piece of paper.
and loose belts certainly don't help.
No, I'll
In
just
my opinion, the loose belts actually wear down the pulley
do something.
faster.
I don't
So
want
we're gonna get
to.
this guy tightened up and push it back in. I got the belt snugged up, but I'm not gonna go full tension, okay? Because I still don't want it to get stuck in there. Even though it's not getting stuck with my test, I'm still not gonna go crazy tight. So that's good enough for now. Make sure when you're tightening these things too, you tighten them you do the adjustment screws evenly. And always want to double check. I usually sometimes grab a tape measure and measure the distance here and the distance there, because the guy before you could have been wrenching and this whole thing could be crooked. You can also look at it and visually inspect it. This one doesn't look bad. Maybe a little bit off, but I don't think it's worth my headache right now, especially when we're still going to change the pulley. The unit is running. All
Keep
the
cord
condenser fan
close to
motors
you
are running
at
now.
all
I'm
times
going
in
to let it
case
run
you
for a little while, for about an hour
gotta
or
take
two,
off
while I
running. You
clean
just
the
gotta
other
unplug it real
condensers,
quick. So
and then we'll go through. I'm just getting started on cleaning this one right now. These ones are not nearly as bad. The kitchens are always the worst. So this one will just take the regular condenser coil cleaner in the yellow Venom pack real quick, give it a rinse.
all right,
It's been running for a little bit now, and when I was clearing the drain, I noticed
want
something
this.
in here.
If something
I
goes
was already
wrong,
gonna put my gauges on it anyways. But look at that.
if something
I
goes
believe
wrong,
the
it's
second
going
stage
wrong.
TXV. It's frosting. It's probably low on
Hey,
charge.
you're gonna blow up.
So we're gonna have to dig into that. All the other ACs are running. Knowing this customer, they got an exhaust fan
I'm
running
getting the
too.
damn screwdriver.
That's not normal. All their exhaust fans should be running. There's only one switch here. So, yeah, all but this one are running. So I'm gonna look into that too. At least drive a return visit probably, because they're not even complaining about it. But again, big picture, guys. I went ahead and rinsed all the other condensers. All the ACs are back on. The belts are all good. So we need to dive into that refrigerant charge issue, and then this exhaust fan not working.
Piece of shit.
I'm gonna take lunch though, because it's 100 degrees outside right now, and I need a break. I've been drinking water like a fish, but still need to take a break, cool off for a little while. All right, my first stage.
That one
Doesn't look horrendous. A 47-degree evaporator, 126-degree condensing temp. This is a R22 15-ton unit. Superheat's a little bit high, but I will say that we are running 100% outside air on this unit, which is very peculiar. It's not meant for that, but because of the air balance, the outside air damper is open all the way. Subcooling's not bad. It's kind of a Frankenstein situation here. I'm not really seeing anything wrong with the first stage. The approach is a little bit low, which could possibly indicate an overcharge, but 14 degrees subcooling or 15 degrees subcooling, that's not bad for these
I get it.
units.
It
They
turns
actually
on.
tell you to check the subcooling. They tell you to pay attention to approach.
But it didn't
I
stay
don't see
on.
a discharge line temp's okay.
Son of a
Yeah, I'm
biscuits.
fine with this one. We're going to go ahead and jump onto the second stage and see what's going on with that. All right, we're on our second stage now. So we've got a low evaporator temperature, 21 degrees. Look at my superheat. I've got
I don't
extremely high
like that
superheat.
shit.
I've got extremely high subcooling. My head pressure is kind of on point with where it should be. Our approach temperature is 0. This thing is not low on charge. I said low on charge earlier, assuming looking at the expansion valve.
See what kind of noise that makes? See what kind of damn racket that makes? It makes a horrible racket.
There's something going on with this expansion
Which I'm not
valve.
surprised with. But when it goes on high, it just smooths out.
Like that. It's not feeding correctly. Yeah. Be careful near that pulley too. There's an issue with the valve. We need to talk to the place about expansion valve. Based on that subcooling, I mean, basically it could be overcharged too, theoretically, but let me make sure real quick one thing. Let me make sure my probes are correct. So low pressure, high pressure, suction line temp is 99. Gosh, that's a hot suction line temp. That's not 99. What is going on here? Something's not right. I think I might have... No? Discharge line temp 297. Suction line temp 99. That seems a little odd, but yeah, I was worried about the discharge line temp and the liquid line temp.
Okay, it works.
That is strange though. Let me see. Oh yeah. Yeah, that suction line temp is 99
See?
degrees.
Quietness.
Yeah, we've got no cooling coming back to the compressor essentially.
That's pretty damn quiet too.
Yeah, we've got an expansion valve issue there. All the condenser fan motors are running. And it's possible that someone put too much gas in here, but look at our suction pressure and our evaporator temperature. We're too low. So we have got a restriction for sure. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the second stage, or third stage, I should say. So we know we've got an issue with the second stage. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to completely disconnect that because we're going to end up with compressor failure, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this bad boy and completely remove it. That way we don't potentially short the compressor because the discharge temp is too high. I'll tape that up. I'd rather do that than have a grounded out compressor later. Third stage looks okay. No major issues. The target for the suction pressure is messed up, but again, this is 100% outside air unit. It's not meant to run that way, but that's the way it's running because of the air balance issues here. But everything else is looking fine. Superheat is, a little bit high, but we've got everything. Yeah, I'm fine with that. The unit's performing
Well, this thing just could be shot.
except for that second stage. 19 degree split. Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk to the customer. We're going to give them a quote to change the expansion valve liquid line dryer on the second stage, and then change that blower pulley and see what they want to do. But the unit's cleaned up, working as good as it can. So you can't just assume because we had a high pressure issue that cleaning the condenser solved it. Got to look at the big picture. And there's no sense in leaving that compressor running that second stage because
okay, yep, new thermostat.
If there isn't already damage.
Transformer's fine.
So we came back today because we were going to go ahead and replace this.
Son of a biscuit! Some buttermilk bit. Okay, yeah. I'll see you tomorrow because this, when it says EE, you know damn well it means something fucked up. Okay, so bye. See you later.